Hello and welcome to this demonstration of a large acrylic abstract painting for which there was no plan whatsoever other than the colours that I wanted to use. Before I begin a large painting session, I like to really feed my belly. So I'm just cooking up some mushrooms here and loading up basically. So I've got toast with a thick layer of hummus, red pepper hummus, my favourite one, and loading up with mushrooms because I don't want to be thinking about food, getting hungry while I'm painting. So I'm making myself a large glass of Ribena, actually my favourite, squash, and sparkling water. So I just want to be fed and hydrated and ready to begin. So we're starting here with a 65 by 65 centimetre canvas pinned to the wall. And these were some paints that I bought on holiday in Spain, and I was inspired by these two colours in particular because I saw them displayed through flowers, and I thought that the orange and pink worked so well together. So we had neon orange and pink, and also an emerald green and a crimson red. So these are the four bold colours that I've chosen to use. They're by Artix. I bought them in Spain. I'm also using Jackson's titanium white acrylic paint and De La Roni's graduate acrylic paint in black. So these are the 6 colours that I'm using. I'm also starting the piece with these water soluble crayons by Caran d'Ache and these oil pastels by Pentel. We're starting here, really starting off just completely free. So I'm not thinking about anything here. I'm using some pastels, some crayons. So some are water soluble, some are oil pastels, and I'm just scribbling. So this is really to loosen up, and it's to make marks on the canvas, and most of it will be covered up. So it really doesn't matter at this stage what it looks like. I'm not attaching to any outcome, which just means that I can pick up colours and just flow, creating shapes and swirls and patterns. No thinking. So it really frees up the mind for the creative process. And then I'm using here a rubber brayer, a little ink roller. And I've mixed up the neon orange with some white, and I'm rolling over the marks. So some of it is covered more heavily, some more lightly. You can still see the marks through. So we're creating layers here, and my canvas is pinned to the wall, but every now and again with this roller it kind of dislodges from the wall and falls down a bit, but that's okay. So I'm going back over with some marks. I'm just using black paint here, recreating some marks. Again, not thinking, it's just something was drawing me to recreate this particular mark. I have no idea why. And now I'm mixing up the emerald green, and I'm going in with the pure emerald green over the top of the orangey colour, the peachy colour that I'd created. And I was painting on a really hot day, so the temperature was really warm, the windows were open, the paint was drying fast. So that was quite good, because when you're painting layers, you have to wait for each layer to dry first before you paint over, otherwise it's going to become muddy and smeary. You can use a hairdryer, that's fine, but I didn't need to because it was so warm. So now I'm going in with the neon pink mixed in with some white, and I've added some white to the emerald green. So again, we're getting layers, and that's creating depth. And I'm creating patches here of pink and orange, and this was inspired by the flowers in Spain. I'm not thinking about particular types of flowers, I'm just making shapes and creating an impression here. This is very abstract. I'm not following any photos. I don't have anything in my mind other than what's unfolding at this stage. So I'm not bothered about what it looks like too much. And I'm creating most of these layers again with the roller, with the little brayer tool. And I like that because the edges of the brayer, as you move it around, kind of scrapes into the paint a bit as well. So you can see the marks beneath. As you're moving the brayer around, it just creates more interest. One of the important things with any art really is to create contrast. So you want dark and light, you want that contrast, so that if you recreate the picture in black and white, you can really see the contrast. That's quite a good way to tell if your picture has enough contrast. If you put a black and white filter on a photo of it and see if you have good contrast. But the process of abstract painting really involves a lot of adding and then taking away. And I guess as the painting unfolds, the mind starts to come into play. So I'm beginning to think a bit more about, okay, I need some contrast here. Oh, okay, so I've just painted the edges of the canvas, and I'm using the crimson to add deeper colour. And I was using a palette knife there for those bits. So now I've decided that actually the canvas looked better turned to the left. So I've rotated the canvas and I'm adding more contrast. I'm using the palette knife and I'm smudging some bits and I'm making other bits bolder. And I'm just really experimenting here. Again, there's no big plan, there's no... I'm just seeing what works, what can I take away, how can I make this composition more interesting. And I decide that actually I only want these few pink marks going in a kind of arch upwards, and so that's what I stick to. And then I create, I decide to create a patch of light at the top, and hence the name Look to the Light. So this is the finishing stage of the painting. There you go, that's the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed this process. So this is what the painting looks like framed and up on the wall. I'm really happy with the outcome, and I hope you found this demo inspiring or interesting in some way. Perhaps you'd like to follow along with the process yourself. If you'd like to see more demos like this, then please do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again another time. Meantime, take great care. Bye for now.